zombies, dinosaurs, and fluffy cloud candy floss trees. Yes, it's all in a day's work at the biggest gaming event of the year, E3. Video games have come a long way in the last 40 years. Gaming gear now feels a lot more real. Gaming rigs have got big and expensive. Controllers are not just a bunch of buttons anymore. These days you can feel like you're in control of a real vehicle. And the graphics, the graphics.
But sometimes you just can't beat the real thing.
Because even in virtual reality, which can be really, really good, you still can't feel the realism. You can't feel the forces on your body. You can't feel the car being crushed under your tracks. At least that's the argument made by Tank America here in Florida. And for the moment, at least, I think they're right.
Seriously though, if you don't have your own tank, don't worry, because video games are getting more and more like the real thing. We're going to hand over now to Kate Russell and Mark Chislak, who are at the world's biggest video games expo, E3, in Los Angeles.
For the next 3 days, 60,000 odd people are going to be jam-packed into the giant LA Convention Center. All of them wanting to get their grubby mitts on the very latest video games.
It's only the second time the general public have been allowed into this space, and it is rammed beyond belief and very, very noisy. But don't worry, we're here to brave the throng so that you don't have to.
First up, surprising absolutely nobody, Battlefield returns with another slice of multiplayer mayhem, Battlefield 5. This time the action's been transported to the Second World War. One new addition is a last man standing Battle Royale mode, but more of that later in the programme. Also making waves, first-person demon slaying in Doom Eternal, and post-apocalyptic role-playing game Fallout 76 got fans excited, as did third-person shooter The Division 2. You'll notice that all of these games have something in common, and that is that they're sequels or part of a franchise.
A sequel basically guarantees you a user base from the start off. Developing a brand new title costs a lot of money, upwards of like millions and millions of pounds. So creating something where you've already got an established genre, you've got your weapons, you've got your characters, everything feels familiar and people want more of the familiar.
But in amongst all the games with numbers after their titles, there's still plenty of original stuff on show here at E3. UK developer Media Molecule has a ton of experience creating original and unusual games. They're the brains behind the Little Big Planet series of titles. This is their latest offering. It's called Dreams, and it defies categorization. It's a game, but it's also a creative toolbox, if you like. It allows players to create their own games too. So a big part of the experience is the creation of your own games, and they supply you with an enormous number of tools with which to do that. So for example, we've got an existing level here and I'm going to remix it. So I can go into an editor and I can change or create whatever elements I want to. And if you're musically minded, you can even create your own tunes to go with the game that you've created. This is how Calvin Harris does it. From making platformers, to space shooters, to whatever this is, creating and sharing the fruits of your labour is what this is all about. you'd be forgiven for thinking that virtual reality had gone the way of fidget spinners, yesterday's passing fad. But that's not the case at this year's E3. There's plenty of VR games on show. And one particularly interesting one comes courtesy of a fella who used to live in the Shire. Mr. Frodo himself, movie and TV star Elijah Wood, founded a production company back in 2010 which makes horror and genre movies, such as the acclaimed A Girl Walks Home at Night. It's teamed with Ubisoft to create a VR psychological thriller called Transference. What are the things that you can do in VR that you can't do in films?
Similar tools that one has in film, sound design, music, the lack thereof. These are all things that you can use in VR as well to elicit an emotional response, but you're in it.
Sounds intriguing. I'll find out for myself. Well, this looks like the kind of birthday party you don't want to go to. Let me go. Help. There's like a 16-bit 80s Phantom dude. Oh! More VR on show in this title called Arcas Path. So my goal is to guide this sphere through this ever-changing map. I control the sphere by looking where I actually want to go. It's all done with my head movements. And it's a clever way of getting around not being able to see your hands and see where they're placed on a controller. And it demonstrates that developers are looking at different ways of drawing the best out of virtual reality, playing to the technology's strengths. Unsurprisingly, Dream Reality, the developers behind this game, think VR is only just getting into its stride.
We are on the second or third wave. We're getting more sophistication. You know, any new tech, you're going to get these ups and downs. But if we look back in 10 years, it will be, in my mind, you know, we've had a load of excitement. We've plateaued a bit of disappointment, but we're already going back up.
In a gaming landscape ruled by franchise fodder and copycat shooters, it's refreshing that jewels of originality can still be found if you look hard enough.
Now, two of the biggest events at E3 are the Microsoft and Sony press extravaganzas, and here are the highlights from both.
And there was plenty of new stuff for Xbox fans. The show starting strong with a tease, climaxing in a glimpse of that helmet.
We will join Master Chief on his greatest adventure yet to save humanity.
Showcasing 50 games, the briefing was a riot of gun-toting, rubber-burning, puzzle-solving, ninja-sneaking, body-slamming, alien-exploding action.
For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled.
Iconic sequels came thick and ear-splittingly fast.
Not just walls,
games like
not
Fallout
just
76.
but hearts and minds.
This is a trial from the heavens above.
Devil May Cry 5. And Dying Light 2.
Once again, the world changes completely with the season.
But the only one we'll be able to play this year is Forza Racing, set in Great Britain with seasonal weather fronts to mix up the gameplay. What is it about us Brits and talking about the weather?
Let's round these people up.
I need help.
One of the biggest cheers came for Gears 5, which introduced a female lead, a move that could cause controversy in certain online circles.
That is a direct order.
Well, Captain.
One of the things I really love about gaming is it really can unite all of us across age, across gender, across geography. We're able to bring everybody together playing games. Some of that is just the people who play. You see that in our audience of fans, but also in the characters I play. Either I get to craft the character the way I want to show up in the game, or as you said, strong female protagonists in games. I think you're seeing a lot of that. I'm proud to be able to do that with our first party.
Microsoft is still playing catch-up in the console space, with industry pundits judging they're being outsold by PlayStation 4 by a factor of some 2-to-1, although no official sales figures support this. But could today's announcements finally see Xbox make the comeback they so desperately need? Delivering games you can only play on Xbox is what will boost that comeback. And Microsoft announced buying up 5 indie game makers to make that happen.
It's a city of dreams.
Among the existing lineup of 18 Xbox exclusives was long-anticipated and frankly gorgeous RPG Cyberpunk 2077, from the team behind the Witcher franchise.
Xbox Game Pass, a way to give gamers the ultimate freedom to play.
But that light was a betrayal, only fleeting.
We may have to wait a while for most of these games, but with Microsoft pushing the cheaper subscription service model, in the way that music and movies went, the good news is lots of the big names will launch straight to the Xbox Game Pass.
Sony is trying something different with its press event this year. They're actually physically moving all of the assembled fans and press through several different themed spaces. They've been themed to reflect the kind of games which are shown in them. Sort of a magical mystery tour with video games.
It started with a kiss. Sony opened its press event with The Last of Us Part 2 and the game's lead, Ellie, kissing a new character called Dina, which drew cheers from the audience. Then we got a first glimpse of gameplay from the third-person actioner set in a world devastated by a fungal zombie plague. The demo was brutal in its depiction of graphic violence. From this we can glean the combat system now seems more fluid than the previous outing. No word on a release date yet though. Then came the sheer bizarre spectacle of the first gameplay from video games auteur Hideo Kojima, the brains behind the Metal Gear Solid series, and his long-awaited Death Stranding. With its babies in bottles, invisible antagonists and star-studded cast, including The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus and Léa Seydoux, the game looks stunning. But even Sony executives seem in the dark about what this all means.
We've seen Death Stranding trailers for the last few years at E3.
That's right.
Can you tell me what Death Stranding is actually about? Because I have no clue.
Can I ask you to ask Hideo Kojima yourself? Maybe I'll broker that interview for you, but...
If you can make that interview happen, I'm very happy to ask him.
I'll stand by and listen as well.
Its release is expected in 2019.
Incoming!
Our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man swings back onto the PlayStation in a game which shows off the web-slinger's arachnid aptitude for acrobatics.
Electro, stop!
With combat that revolves around punches, leaps and enough spinning kicks to make Jean-Claude Van Damme dizzy. Spidey navigates a huge play area using his trademark web-slingers and takes on a gang of his deadliest enemies, the Sinister Six. It's released in September this year. A Resident Evil 2 remake and a brief glimpse of a gravity-defying game called Control from developers Remedy and 505 Games rounded out a solid showcase, which focused on titles exclusive to the machine, which is currently riding high as the dominant console of this generation.
Hello and welcome to the Week in Tech. It was the week that Dixon's Carphone admitted a major data breach affecting more than 1 million users' personal records and compromising nearly 6 million bank cards. Apple is to change the iPhone default settings to make it harder for hackers to access devices. The move will also make it trickier for law enforcers to get in if need be, although the company denies that's part of the aim. And Uber has applied for a patent to use AI to assess how drunk a potential passenger might be. Doing so by looking at their location, typing accuracy, and even the angle they're holding their phone. An important milestone for drone deliveries in the UK has been passed, as one has been given permission to fly far beyond the visual line of sight. The partnership between the UK government's Pathfinder programme and Sensat saw a successful flight stretching 12 kilometres away from the pilot, making use of a GPS positioning and real-time photography mapping system. And finally, MIT has revealed these 3D printed soft magnetic structures that can grab, crawl and jump. They're designed for use within biomedical devices where they could be remotely controlled from outside the body. The idea is that they may take images, extract samples, deliver drugs, or even surround a blood vessel to control the pumping of blood.
I'll always remember the first time that I saw Doom, a first-person shooter game that several people on different networked computers could play at once. It absolutely blew my mind. The latest virtual reality tech makes it possible to feel like you're actually there and feels pretty realistic.
But real battle games have moved on as well. I mean, this is the most realistic laser tag I have ever played.
This experience has taken some of the ideas from video games and combined them with the ultra realism of being on a movie set. Once hit, players can respawn at the special respawn button. Scoreboards are displayed around the rooms, and you get an app to track your scores between your visits. It's exciting, it's exhausting, but I think Kate has found something even bigger at E3.
It's all very well going onto the battlefield fully armed, Sven. But sometimes the only thing you can find is a bush to hide in. And that's the thrill I love when playing Battle Royale games. You start each round with nothing and have to try and stay alive until everyone else is dead. Okay, a tank would have been better. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds kicked off the current craze over Battle Royale type games, but at E3 this year, it's all about Fortnite. Now the world's most popular game, fans packed into a stadium to see 50 celebrities and 50 gamers compete for a $3 million charity prize pool, with popular Twitch streamer Ninja claiming victory. More big news at E3 was Nintendo announcing Fortnite on the Switch. From a standing start back in March last year, PUBG and Fortnite have been breaking world records all over the place. It seems like almost everyone is playing these games. So what is it about Battle Royale?
I think Battle Royale has been so popular because it has all the best elements of online gaming, but it also reduces some of the problems. So first up, you don't have to spend hours and hours a week playing. We don't all have, evenings free to spend playing. It also means that you're not going to run into people who are griefing, who are trolling. I think, we've got some unpleasant aspects in online gaming, people who just want to get in your way. And in Battle Royale games, that's not really in their best interest, because if they get in your way, there's a very good chance that you're going to kill them.
With such an appetite for the genre, there are now plenty of Battle Royale games in the making. And with Fortnite reportedly earning around $300 million on in-game cosmetic purchases in April, it's a slice of a tasty pie thereafter.
Just charging for emotes, skins, crazy hats for your characters. It's pretty unusual. No one else is really doing it. The rest of the industry, believe me, is looking at Fortnite and seeing whether they can start to borrow some of that stuff. So Battle Royale is huge as a concept when something as big as Call of Duty is willing to drop its single-player campaign to focus on it.
You are now not in the presence of nice guys. Bravo secure.
Yes, you heard that right. Call of Duty Black Ops is dropping the single-player story mode for a last man standing. But not everybody enjoys playing online with real people. You have a legion of fans of Call of Duty who love the solo mode. Mm-hmm. What do you say to them?
We're trying to tell narrative in different ways with this game. I think that if you look at the zombies offering that we're going to have at launch, it's the biggest zombies experience we've ever done. And we're introducing a whole new cast of characters with whole new storylines. Blackout as a new mode is also bringing a lot of the legacy of the Black Ops series in a way that's, I think, going to let fans create their own stories. And I think that it's going to really appeal to casual and very competitive and hardcore gamers alike.
When you look at these games, it's easy to think there's no such thing as an original idea anymore. But Maverick's Proving Grounds, due out next year, is hoping to stand out from the crowd.
The way we see existing Battle Royale is that they're sort of the first step into massively multiplayer competitive gameplay. But Mavericks is really taking a step up in terms of depth. You actually affect the environment more. There's a lot more sort of strategy that occurs in the game of Mavericks because you can see information caused by other players. So there's a lot more and much more depth in the player-to-player interaction.
With 1,000 players in a match and the ability to track your prey by the footprints and other marks they leave on the landscape, it's an intriguing spin on the seemingly unstoppable might of the Battle Royale game.
So that's it, E3 over for another year, and Battle Royale games obviously one of the biggest themes on Showcase.
So huge, one does wonder if the bubble isn't going to burst at some point, but Black Ops, I enjoyed playing that. I think there's going to be quite a lot of problems with the single player fans though when that does come out, despite their insistence there's going to be content in there for story mode fans.
I think Fortnite's going to remain dominant. It's difficult to beat free. Interestingly though, diversity in the characters that you can play, a very, very big thing this year. Lots and lots of games allowing you to play as female characters. And that's caused some fuss online, but the games companies seem to be ignoring that kind of fuss.
Well, and good job too as well, because the figures are showing that more and more women are coming to gaming. So, perhaps more representative of the stories that we live in our real lives and the characters we come across in our real lives is actually attracting a wider audience, and that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, so female player characters in Battlefield 5, female player character in Assassin's Creed, Odyssey.
Yep.
I mean, that's two really, really big franchises
and
there.
Gears 5 as well, coming up with a big, strong female lead.
We were very lucky though, because we did get the opportunity to play quite a few games, and we even got the opportunity to play against one another, didn't we?
I knew you were going to bring that up. He's basically just saying it so that he gets the chance to say again,
I'm the king of games!
Right. Play me on a PC game.
Watch this. Just watch this. Just watch this. Just watch this. Now this is a hugely anticipated title for the Switch, Super Smash Bros.
All your favourite classic gaming characters are in there. I'm playing Sonic at the moment. There's Solid Snake, Zelda's in there. Looks gorgeous.
I've chosen to play as Samus Aran from the Metroid games. Not doing too well at the moment.
I am a bit of a button masher, which is actually driving Mark a bit wild.
It's interfering with my precision combat.
Oh, it's kind of a cross between a beat 'em up and a platformer, because you've got to stay on the platform. You've got things to collect.
It's not quite as simple as putting off some martial arts moves. Each one of the characters that you can choose has signature moves that you don't normally find in beat 'em up games.
And the winner is
Samus Aran! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In your face.
I was let down by the hedgehog, seriously. Sonic could do better.
Brilliant stuff. And that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it half as much as I have. We're staying in the US next week for a look at sustainable technology. In the meantime, you can find loads from us on Facebook and on Twitter at BBC Click. Thanks for watching, and if you wouldn't mind, get out of my way.